Hey folks, Bob Warden here. Wanted to share with you a recipe that I learned quite a number of years ago from a friend of mine in New Orleans who was a rather celebrated chef, an extremely good sailor, and an absolutely fantastic cameraman. We got to work together a lot and spend a lot of time talking about recipes and the amazing food that comes out of New Orleans. And this one is one of the most unique. I'll warn you up ahead, it's going to take a bit of time to prepare the most basic of elements. So pour yourself a nice cold drink or a glass of wine, put on some music in the background, and just take your time, pay attention. It's well worth the effort. We're going to a place where we make black roux. Now, what's unique about black roux? Black roux has absolutely no shortening of any kind in it. No oil, no butter, no nothing. Just flour and a hot pan and a whole lot of persistence and paying attention to the rules. And the rules are you just don't take your eyes off the pan and you keep that temperature real low. The idea is to slowly brown the flour without any kind of oil. And in doing so, by doing it very, very slowly, it will change color. That's your indication that you're doing it right. If you get any black spots along the way, you're done. You blew it. You have to start over again. And that's kind of painful. So don't have the TV on. Don't have the kids running around. Pay attention to what you're doing. Just focus on that pot. Just like Grandma did. You walk in the room when Grandma was cooking, she told you to get out. And that was one of the reasons. She had to focus on that pot. And this particular recipe makes it really, really worth the effort. So what you're seeing right there is just a pot with some flour in it and a paddle, which my buddy gave me from New Orleans, which is uniquely suited to doing this particular dish because it won't mar your stainless steel pot or whatever, and you can stir it without much difficulty. Now, we're going to go through the process, and I'll try to make it quick, although it won't be when you prepare it. You're going to watch this slow change in the color of the roux. And right now you're looking at literally the flour all by itself. And as we're moving on, it's beginning to change color. Sort of a yellowish color now, getting a little warmer, taking our time. It's beginning to change color, turning a little bit more toward brown. And then around this could be 50 minutes into the process, it's beginning to turn sort of a chocolate brown. And then at the final stages, it turns very dark brown. And in fact, it literally turns the color of tar and the same consistency. If you've ever moved around tar or anything like that, perhaps as a kid playing with Play-Doh or something, it literally becomes the same consistency. And it's at that point you want to take it off the heat and you want to prepare a nice bouillon to go with it, which is the agent that you add to the process that will break it down, turn it into, in a sense, a gravy. And oftentimes what I will do is I'll go ahead and just put another pot on the stove. And I prefer using dashi, which is a Japanese flavoring that's actually made from fish. It's in dry form. You add it to the water, and you can sort of add enough to get the fish taste that you like. And once I've got that, which is essentially the base of my bouillon, I'll go ahead and take my fish, for example. If I'm using cod, I'll take a piece of cod, cut off 1/3 of it, chop it up, and put that in my bouillon and just let it simmer. Also, I'll take things like, if I'm going to add shrimp to the dish, I'll go ahead and peel my shrimp, take the shells, put it in a piece of foil, pop it in the oven for about 350 degrees for maybe about 10 minutes. And that's going to draw all of the esters or oils out of the shrimp and put it on the surface of the shrimp. I take those shells and drop that into the bouillon as well. Put a cover on it and let it sit for 10 or 15 minutes, not on a boil, very low temperature, just to extract the flavor of the shrimp, because there's a lot of fat on a shrimp that on the inside of the shell, that fat adheres to it, and once you heat it up and it becomes sort of soft and emulsified, it'll dissolve into your bouillon. You can do the same thing by adding oysters. That's a great way to go, and use all of the liquor that comes with the oysters, all the juices that they normally pack it in, which adds a tremendous amount of flavor to the bouillon as well. Remember, don't put the oysters in yet, just the liquor from inside the container. And then now you're going to take all of these elements plus the vegetables and things that you want to add to your gumbo and put it all together in the proper order. Here's an example of what that beautiful bouillon looks like. This is probably about 20 minutes worth of effort of building this nice big stock that's going to be used to thin out and make the base of the gumbo. Here's an example of what it looks like when I've added my vegetables. I've got green pepper, green onion. In this specific one, I've got chopped celery and some chopped up fennel. I tend to like to put a little fennel in my gumbo to give it that little bit of a almost licorice type flavor that really gives it the feeling of old New Orleans, which was very common because the popularity of drinks with fennel or licorice in it, they also used to use it in the cooking as well. And bear in mind that right now what I'm cooking it in is the finished product of that roux, still staying at a very low temperature, and as you can see, it's drawing out the moisture from the vegetables and actually emulsifying and incorporating in with the base as well. And now it'll start breaking down and start becoming a little more liquid. Here I've added some frozen okra to it. If you have the ability to get fresh okra, fantastic. You can cut it up any size you want, but that is a traditional element in all gumbo. In fact, the okra originally came from Africa, and the name for okra in Africa happens to be gumbo, just so you know. And we're going on a little further. Now I've incorporated the cooked fish in there, as well as oysters and the chopped up shrimp. And I will also put some shrimp on the top as a garnish. Another photo of that. Another. And then we add the bouillon to the gumbo mix and carefully stir it, just slowly bring it up in temperature. And you'll notice within a matter of a few seconds, it will thicken really, really fast. So if you don't want to get it too hot, otherwise it'll turn into a solid. You want to keep it as a liquid because remember, it is a soup. And the final part of the process is you put all of the vegetables, the bouillon, the base gumbo together in a nice plate. You can put, which is traditional, you put some steamed rice in the center, add your little garnish, in this case using the shrimp, and you have probably the best gumbo you've ever had. Take it slow, take your time, enjoy the entire process. You will absolutely adore the aromas that come off of this, and make one first for yourself. Get comfortable with the amount of time that it takes to prepare it, and enjoy the process and share it with your friends. I hope you enjoy it. Till next time.